So welcome back to my YouTube channel, to my beautiful subscribers. Thank you. And if you are yet to subscribe, please do well by subscribing and also hit the like button and share. Today's tutorial is about how to make this beautiful dress with the loop design at the front. If this is what you are interested in, please do well by watching till the end. Thank you. So these are the fabric we'll be working with. I have 3 yards of Ankara fabric, though I won't finish up everything. I have 3 yards of that, and I also have my pattern paper. I'll be using one sheet of the pattern paper, my ruler, and also this velvet fabric. I just need little piece out of this. So the next thing to do is to rule out our starting point, which is at least 1 inch or 2 inches from the tip of the paper. So that part, the other side of the pattern paper, will be our center front or center back, because we'll be using this for both center front or center back. Then you go ahead and measure your shoulder measurement, which I use 8 inches. So from the shoulder measurement, you extend that part at least 10 inches, or how length you want your sleeve to be. Measure at least 10 inches. So for this project, I measured 10 inches. Then the next thing for us to get our waist measurement, the bust, the waist, and the hip measurement, of which I went ahead to measure. I used 10 inches for the bust and 16.5 inches for the waist and 25 inches for the hip line. So I measure all this, then rule out. So after ruling out, the next thing for us to label, so I went ahead to label bust, waist, and hip line. So the next thing for us to connect the neck, I measure 4 inches. Then at the sleeve part, I dropped that part by 1 inch. Then I connected the neck part to the sleeve part. Because remember, the dress we're working with is a cut together dress. So I went ahead to measure 1 inch for the depth of the neck, and I connected. So I'll take my various measurements. The bust measurement divided by 4, I added 3 inches to that part for the allowance. The waist measurement divided by 4, I added 4 inches for the waist, because I don't want it too shapey. It's not a fitted dress, it's a free dress, so the waist had to blend. Then I went ahead to measure my hip measurement divided by 4. Hip measurement divided by 4, I added 3 inches for the hip part. Then I connected all the lines together. So I went ahead to curve the point where the sleeve and the bust line meets. You can use your curve, or you can do it freehand. Then to the down part, I measured what I have on the hip side. I measured it and I extended the line. The pattern paper is not enough for my length, so I will extend the length on the fabric. So the next thing is for me to cut out. So I'll transfer what I have on the paper to the fabric, adding to the length and 2 inches to the sleeve part. So I'll add my desired length. I use 41, including my hemming and all. So I use 41 inches for this length, then 2 inches on the sleeve part for the folding. I'll go ahead and pin the pattern paper to my fabric and cut out. So I went ahead to cut out these pieces for my facing. So I'll place it under the back bodice, then cut out following the shape of the neck. So I'll go ahead and stitch my facing and my back bodice together. So after that, I'll iron and use my hemming gum as well. So here is what the back look like after stitching the facing and applying my hemming gum. So let's work on the front part. So with the same pattern, I'll use this for the front. The first thing is for us to bring out our design. From my neck point, I measured 15 inches downward. So on the neck part, for the neck depth, I use 6 inches by 4 that we have there already. So 6 inches. I actually later changed it to 7 inches because 6 inches was kind of high for me. Then I designed the neck the way I want. So you go ahead and do your desired neck. Then on the shoulder part, you measure 2.5 inches. So you measure what you have from the center front to the 2.5 inches. Measure what you have generally. Then measure the results on the down part, the part where we measure 15 inches. Measure on that part, then rule a straight line. You can actually design this the way you want. Reduce the wideness of the front design. You can increase it, reduce it. It all depends on the style you're working with. So with this, so from where the wideness of the front design stop, you measure 2 inches. Just as you see me do in this video, measure it downward and rule a straight line. So after ruling the straight line, you go ahead and label, indicating whatever material you're using for the design. Here I use velvet, so I go ahead and label velvet. Then I'll cut out. So after cutting out the paper, I went ahead to pin my pattern paper on my fabric, adding ½ inch allowance on the necessary part, and also increase the length the same way I did to the back bodice, and also add 2 inches to the sleeve parts. So after that, I went ahead to measure my pocket, which I used 10 inches by 8. I actually didn't know the video was not recording. I went ahead to use my hemming gum to fold 2 inches for the upper part. And the space between the two pockets is just 4 inches. That's 2 inches on both sides. I got the midpoint of the dress, and I measure 2 inches on both sides. Then I place it 1 inch below my waistline. My waistline is 16.5, so I use 17.5 for this project. I hope you understand this part. So I have the front design cut out already. I had ½ inch on the necessary parts, and I went ahead to apply my hairstay. So I'll be using these matching bias for the loop. So I'll go ahead and fold the bias with my sewing machine, then bring it back. So here is the bias which I have cut out. I'll go ahead and measure to 2 inches into 8 places. This all depends on how many loop you want. I just want 4 on each side. So I'll go ahead and cut it out into 8 places, 2 inches each. So after that, I'll get this front design and measure 3 inches upward. That is where my loop will start from. So I'll take to my sewing machine and stitch. The distance between each loop will be 2 inches. So here's what I have. I've stitched my loop. The distance between each loop is 2 inches. Then I join the other side. So this is what it looks like at this stage. So a special announcement: if you have not subscribed yet, I guess this is the right time for you to hit on the subscribe button and also like. So at this point, I brought out the front piece which I have already. Then the front design, I've measured my rope. I've folded the rope. The rope I used 1 inches by 70. 1 inches by 70. Then I went ahead to fold it. So now I'll fold up my front piece this way, then notch that angle just ½ inch. Notch the angle. You know, we have it in 4-corner shape, so it won't be that easy for us to stitch the design to it. So that angle will notch just ½ inch, so as for us to have a neat sewing. So I'll take this now to my sewing machine and stitch, then bring back. So you see the way it's open up after notching. So just for you to know how to stitch it, you'll be stitching the both sides first, the 2 sides of the front design to the fabric first before the down part. So I also went ahead to cut my face in the same shape with the front design. So I'll take this to my sewing machine now and stitch, then bring back. So this is what the front piece look like at this point. I've joined the front design. So the next thing is for us to turn the neck with the facing. So I'll go ahead and do that. Turn the neck with the facing and notch, then top stitch. So after turning the neck with the facing, I went ahead to join the front and the back piece together. I went ahead to join it together. So the next thing now is for me to stitch my facing to the front design. So I turn the fabric, I'll stitch my facing with the front design. I also go ahead and weave that part and weave my sleeve part as well, then hem that part. Also, I'll do the same to the other part. That's the other sleeve. So as you can see, I've done the necessary thing. I've weaved the facing part. Also, I've hemmed with my hemming gun the sleeve part. So the next thing is for me to pin the seam side of both the front and the back piece together. I'll pin that side, then go ahead and stitch 1/2 inch round on both sides, and also weave the down part of the dress. Then the dress is ready. Thanks for watching. If you have found this helpful, please don't forget to like, and if you have not subscribed, please do it by subscribing. Thank you.